Hey, boys, bears, and all you other beasts, it's me, Scare Bear Dan. A couple of weeks ago, I posted on Boys, Bears, and Scares that I have gotten control back of the first three novels in my gay horror series, Comfort Cove. And now, actually, I have control of them and I have them in my hand. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's the hard copies. They've come in. So I am going to go over them with you. I'm going to show you the covers and all that stuff. But first, I revised each of them a little bit. And what I want to first say about them is that, it's been 10 years since I wrote the first books. So things have changed a lot in society since then. A lens has been focused on the words we use, the things we say, vocabulary that was ingrained in us, even authors, whatnot. A lot of it's become outdated. So I looked at words that I chose, and I changed some of it because, you can either be annoyed by the fact that words have meanings that are sensitive to people, or you can just fucking change the words because there are other words. So I changed some words. I didn't change, there are characters in here who their backgrounds dictate the things they say. So, because just like us, they're not perfect. They all have faults. And so, they have different cultural backgrounds, they have different educations, different social backgrounds, different economic backgrounds. They come from different ages, different generations. So I've left that in because, that also creates conflict, and that actually leads right to my first book, because there is conflict in the Cove in the first book. Oh, I love that cover. That's the new cover for Combustion, the first book in the series. So Combustion is in the first book. Comfort Cove, the whole series is about Comfort Cove being a city that's all gay men. So in the first book, it's not quite there yet. It's a city that's on the verge of collapse. But now it's going through a gay renaissance. So gay men are sweeping in and buying up real estate, and it's becoming more expensive. And it's naturally, this is what happens in real life. It's affecting the people who already live there. Oh, the straighties. But no, it's affecting the minority communities, particularly the black community, who is getting pushed to the edges. And when gay men suddenly start bursting into flame and their bodies are being found burnt alive, there's a suggestion that the black community is revolting and that this is the work of the black community. But Deck Waxer, who happens to be once a detective, now a private paranormal investigator, comes to town because a friend calls him in because this guy lost his partner to one of these fire situations. And Deck looks at the situation, and he thinks, this is spontaneous combustion. So he's going to put out, he's going to put himself out there and find out what's really going on, no matter what it takes. So that is what is going on in the first book. And at the same time, Deck is being pursued by a group of some sort of figures in black, all in black. And he's actually being terrorized by them, and he's being chased through the city as he's trying to figure out what's going on. So that's the first book. And in the second book, love it. No place but stay in the light. Stay in the light. No place for little ones. The second book. This is still one of my favorite books in the series. I just love this one. It's one of my favorites in the series. In the second book, Deck and a bunch of his friends have moved into an apartment building. It was once a derelict building, and it has been renovated. And Deck and his friends are it's not fully, it's not fully tenanted yet. And so they have a bunch of apartments in the place, but they decide to throw a fetish party and use the whole building for the fetish party. So the whole party goes throughout all the hallways and whatnot. It's in the middle of winter. It's a blizzard hits. The fetish party is going on. Something gets unleashed from the basement. It's been trapped in the basement for years. And it comes out, and it's very interested in what's going on in the party. And it's also very hungry. So that's the second book. In the third book, Rise of the Thing Down Below. Now this cover art, we actually did the cover art for the book, even from the publisher. We took the same cover art and we turned it from day to night. The original cover art was in the daytime. That's how you tell the difference. In Rise of the Thing Down Below, it's also the thickest. The Rise of the Thing Down Below is the thickest. It's the thickest of the three books. In Rise of the Thing Down Below, it's summer. There's a new, huge boardwalk attraction. It's an amusement park, a sexual amusement park, an adult amusement park for all the boys and bears. So they all come flooding to the beach, right? And Little did they know that there was a quake a few nights before the park opens, and when this little mini quake hit the city, it unleashed something from the water. There was something under the water, trapped in a rock formation. It was a not fully evolved species, and now it's out to play. It's able to come onto the shore, and it's quite interested in what's going on. So that is the third story. Now, in these 3 books, I've also included, each one has 6 stories. These 6 stories in each one come from the first 2 books I ever published were erotic horror collections. One was Closet Monsters, one was Horny Devils. Those were published by a publisher. Those are out of print. So I've taken those stories, revised them a little bit too, but the thing about those stories is that all the characters in those stories, I took those characters and I sent them to come live in Comfort Cove in the series. So they were actually, those stories were the inspiration for Comfort Cove. So those stories are kind of like the chronology of the characters before they moved to Comfort Cove. So they're all now in these 3 books. So they're, anything that was in those books are all now republished again. So they're now all available again. And I've revised them, and I've also added a couple of new stories involving characters from Comfort Cove. So they're also in here. So there's a whole bunch going on in these books. So that's it. The first 3 books republished. You can get them in ebook format and paperback. Awesome. And this is Wet Screams. This is actually the 4th book, Wet Screams. That's a Halloween book. That is the 4th book in the series. And I'm up to book 7 now, which is Snakehead. And I'm working on the 8th one. The 8th one I'm hoping is going to be out this fall. So the 8th book will be out this fall, and that really is about it, I think. If not, I'll just make another little video and tell you what the next thing is. I'll put a link to the whole series so you can see them, and then that's about it, guys. All right? Bye.